Hi, I'm Dr. Sharon Gam from Sharon Gam Fitness.
And I'm Dr. Yonit Arthur of The Steady Coach.
So we are doing workout B, the second of our 2 workouts specifically designed to improve the skills of interoception, of proprioception, of rewiring your nervous system and your stress response system. So a few things I want to get out of the way up front. First of all, we always want to warm up before exercise. So you're going to want to take 5 to 10 minutes and just do some light movement, maybe some walking or jogging in place, maybe some arm circles or leg swings, just to get your heart rate up a little bit, to get your blood flowing, to get you feeling ready to work out. We're going to do a full body workout here, so we're going to cover all the major movement patterns. So our push, pull, squat, hinge, core, and then we'll do an accessory exercise as well. We're going to structure the workout in supersets. So a superset is 2 exercises done back to back with as little rest as possible in between. And then you rest and start from the first exercise again. We're going to be resting for about 90 seconds. We're going to do 2 sets of each exercise. Now, if you are a little bit more experienced with strength training or you do this workout a few times, which I hope you do, then you could add a 3rd set. And we're going to do a repetition range of 8 to 12. So 8 to 12 reps per exercise.
Now we know you've got lots of questions. You may want to know how to know when you're ready to exercise, or how to modify this workout if you don't have equipment, or if the exercises are too easy or too hard for whatever reason. So we are filming a separate FAQ video, frequently asked questions video, that you can access via the link in the top comment of this video and in the video description. So if you have questions about this, we've got answers. Make sure you check out that video. All right, you ready to get started?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Hi, welcome to workout B. So we'll need a few pieces of equipment here. We'll need a set of dumbbells, we'll need a yoga mat, maybe a box or a bench depending on the modifications that you might want to do. Okay, here we go. We're going to start with our pull exercise and our hinge exercise. So our pull is going to be a 1-arm row. So I'll get you to set up with a bench and a dumbbell here. We're going to put your knee on the bench, and then the same hand is going to go on the bench. With the other hand, you're going to grab the dumbbell. I'll get you to take that left foot and just put it out a little bit further. So this is just for some balance and stability so the weight doesn't try to pull you over. And then you're going to brace your pillar. We talked about this in the first workout. So core on, glutes on, sending your brain a message that you're nice and strong and stable and under control. And then we're going to initiate the pull with your elbow. So you're going to pull your elbow up, get that weight up to your lower ribs, and then nice and slow back down. Good, re-brace everything. Again, every time we want to send your brain those safety and stability signals, and we're going to go for 8 of these. Good job. So we're going nice and slow. Each time, again, core on, glutes on, we're pulling shoulders down and back, and we're moving nice and slowly and under control. Good. Now, I like this exercise a lot from a nervous system perspective because it's one-sided. So we're training our nervous system here to be able to brace on one side and then pull on the other side. Yeah, really good job. Is that 8? Yep. All right, where did we get to on our strength effort scale there?
4 or so.
4 or 5? Yeah, so as usual, this weight is too light. So normally we would keep going and try to get to that 8 or 9 out of 10 effort. All right, we're going to set up same on the other side. So now we've got left knee, left hand, got the weight underneath you. That right leg is kind of bracing so that the weight doesn't pull you sideways. Core on, glutes on, shoulders down and back. And then nice and slow and under controlled, we're going to pull up. Perfect. And come back down. Yep. Very good. And now we do want to match the weight and the reps from one side to the other. So if we had kept going, and gone up to 12 reps, for example, then we would have wanted to do that on this other side as well. Really good. Again, we're bracing every time. Good, nice, slow, controlled movements. Yeah, this is looking good. What number are we on?
Number 8.
All right. Perfect. Okay, so that was our pull, a one-arm row. So now we're going to do a hip thrust, or a glute bridge, which is our hinge exercise. So we're going to use our yoga mat here. We're going to come down onto the mat. So we're lying on your back. We've got knees bent, feet on the floor. We generally want your heels to be about an inch away from your fingertips. So I usually do exactly what Yanit is doing. Find your fingertips and then move your feet out just a little bit. Now we're going to, as always, brace your pillar. So core on. For upper body, she's doing exactly the right thing here, which is pushing her upper arms into the floor. Can you feel that upper body tension that happens there? And then you're going to push up through your heels to bring your hips up. Yeah, nice big squeeze in the glutes there. And then we're going to lower nice and slowly back down. Rebrace, exactly right. Rebrace every time. Now, something with this one, a little bit of troubleshooting. Some people have some issues feeling their glutes on this one. Sometimes that's to do with your foot position, so you can kind of play around a little bit, move your feet a little bit further, a little bit closer, and see if that helps. Also, if you go up too high, I find sometimes that you lose your pillar stability there, so you really don't have to go hips all the way up to the sky. You can just go until you feel your glutes go. That last one. Can we do a little bit more here? Another trick, if you have some trouble feeling your glutes, is I like to use a little mini band here. So this is going to go, I'm going to hand you that. It's going to go right above your knees. Perfect. Let's just get 4 more to bring us up to 12 reps. I'm sure that sense of effort wasn't anywhere near an 8 or 9 out of 10 for you. You got strong glutes. But what the band is doing here is the band is trying to pull her knees inwards, and she's just kind of fighting the band and putting a little bit of pressure outwards, and that usually helps you activate your glutes a little bit more. Can you feel your glutes more when you're using the band? Yeah, it helps a lot. So that's a little trick if you've got these small little resistance bands. Okay. All right, so that was our first superset. So we're going to take a little bit of a break here. You got 90 seconds to rest. So let me start my timer. So while we're resting, I want to talk about something that I think is really underrated and underappreciated in terms of strength training, which is its ability to help you change your self-identity and challenge some maybe negative thought patterns. So I'm just going to speak for myself here. I have dealt with depression and anxiety for most of my life, and I definitely had some issues with the way that I viewed myself and my abilities and my interactions in the world. And what I learned from many, many years of trying to think and logic myself out of those feelings is that I couldn't really do it. I couldn't use my mind to change my mind. And it wasn't until I found exercise and strength training in particular that I realized it's taking action. It's using my body to change my mind, which is what really made the biggest difference. Because strength training gives you these opportunities to have called mastery experiences, right? To get real tangible evidence that you are strong and capable and you're improving and you're getting better. And if you're intentional about it, which I think is a big part of training for mental health, you can apply those lessons that you learn in the gym, those great, wonderful feelings that you get about your abilities in the gym, you can apply those to other challenging situations in your life. It's made such a big difference for me. I think it's an incredible benefit that I hope you guys can start to utilize and appreciate. All right, we got 3 seconds here. So we're gonna, yes, good timing. So we're gonna start again with our one-arm rows. Generally, I like to start the other way around, which I believe is this way, right? Okay, good. All right, we got it. Okay, so same setup, same hand and knee are on the bench, opposite leg and opposite arm are off the bench. We're gonna brace pillar, so core on, glutes on, shoulders back, and then you're gonna pull that weight up to lower ribs and come back down. So again, we're doing 8 of these. Nice and slow and controlled. Let's talk about some modifications here. If this exercise doesn't feel so great for you for whatever reason, the first thing I usually like to do is lower the weight and see if that helps. If that doesn't help and the problem is more being in this position and having your head down, then what we would want to do is maybe switch the exercise for a different exercise in the same movement pattern. So this is a pull exercise. So we would maybe want to think about switching this. Good job. We're going to do the same on the other side. We would maybe think about switching this for a seated row where you're doing a very similar arm movement, but you're sitting upright. You could maybe do a standing band row where you would attach a band to something solid, and then you could actually stand up and do that same arm movement. If you wanted to replicate this single-sided thing, you could do a band row or a cable row one side at a time. So there are some options. You just got to make sure that you're keeping the exercise within the same movement pattern. So really good job. We're bracing. Nice and slow and controlled. Good. What number are we on here? 6. All right, almost there. Yep, good. And one last time, and should have mentioned this before, we're trying to pull from back here, so we're squeezing shoulder blades together at the top. How did that feel? Good? Yeah. Sense of effort? Not too bad? Okay. All right, so that's our pull done. So now we're going to do our hinge again. So we did the glute bridge before. I do want to demonstrate a different version of the hinge exercise. So we'll do a hip thrust. It's very similar, but if you like the glute bridge, absolutely stick with the glute bridge. But if you feel like you need a different variation, you can try this hip thrust. So it's very similar, but we're going to elevate your shoulders up onto, you can use a bench if you want, you can use a box. We'll use this box here. And then we can probably use that same weight, right, to demonstrate how you would do it with a weight. Sure. Okay, so I'm going to hand you that way. Got it? Okay. So we're setting up, let's move this out of your way. Setting up in basically the same position, but this time you've got your shoulders on the edge of this box. I'm just going to hold it down with my foot here, just in case so it doesn't slide back on you. I'll do it with my hand. All right, so when you're ready, you're going to push up through your heels to get your shoulder blades up on the box. There we go. All right, does that feel okay? All right, so now coming down, bracing core, shoulder blades in your back pockets, and then bringing those hips up. So this is how you would do it also, let's say with the glute bridge, if that feels a little bit too easy and you wanted to progress it, but this maybe would be a little bit too challenging. This is a progression. You could do that glute bridge using a dumbbell just like Anita's doing. You would just put it in the same position and essentially you're just adding resistance that your glutes have to work against. Good job. So we're bracing every time. Last one. Awesome. Nice. All right. How did that feel? Is that a little bit more challenging? You feel glutes a little bit more and probably like core a little bit more? Yeah. Okay. So that's another good variation. Now, if let's say, so that's another hinge exercise. If maybe being in that position doesn't feel great, like lying on your back or having your head down, so we could replace that with another hinge movement. So a dumbbell deadlift would be a good one. We did that in workout A, or something like a banded pull through or a banded hip thrust where you take a long resistance band and you attach it to like a solid object, and you could do that maybe standing up a little bit more, but we're using the same movement pattern. All right, so we got a pull and our hinge done. We're going to do a push and we're going to do a squat. So for our push, we're going to do shoulder presses.
Was it like 1.5 minutes or?
Yeah, so I'll put the timer on, but I'm going to use this 1.5 minutes to set up the next round of stuff. So you can have a little bit of a breather. Okay. Okay. So for shoulder presses, I'm getting some dumbbells ready here. And then for our squat, we're going to use this nice big kettlebell here. All right, so we still have about a minute of rest. How you feeling? Good. Do you feel like you need the whole minute? This is probably a good example of how we can change our rest times around a little bit. So if you should be working hard enough that you do feel like you need a rest, but you don't have to take the full 90 seconds. If you feel like you need more, take more. If you feel like at 60 seconds you're pretty good to go, you can probably get straight into it. Okay. Yeah, I think we can do it. So we're going to start with our push exercise, so our shoulder presses. So we've got our dumbbells here. So we're going to pick them up. Now, normally I would say you want to do this facing a mirror, but for our purposes, we're going to face this way. Okay, so we're going to set a nice, strong, stable foundation. So we've got feet on the floor. We want that pillar on, core on, glutes on. Let's get shoulders down and back. The weights are starting right around her chin level. And then when you're ready, you're going to take the weights up towards the ceiling and then in an arc formation towards each other. Perfect. And then you're going to bring them back down nice and slow. Good. So we're going to do 8 of these. There's our timer right there. And every time I want you to reset your pillar. So reset your core, reset your glutes. With this one, I really, again, like this from a neural circuit perspective because it's training some proprioception. You're having to direct those weights in exactly the right timing and the right positioning to get them to touch lightly at the top. And that's really a skill. So if this is something that you struggle with a little bit at the beginning, being able to line up the weights, it's something that will get better with practice. So I definitely encourage you to keep working on it because as you get better, that means your proprioceptive system is getting better. That's really what we're trying to do here. Last one. All right. Good. Rebrace. Nice job. Yeah, those look great. All right. How did those feel? How's our sense of effort?
I benched this morning, so.
Yeah, so everything's a little bit tired already. And moving super slowly like that makes it much more difficult as well. Okay, so that was our push. We're going to do our squat now. So we're going to do, let's do maybe half body weight and then half with the kettlebell. All right, so with squats, our foot position is really important. I think I mentioned this in workout A. We want to think about grabbing the floor with your feet at 3 points of contact. So big toe, pinky toe, and heels kind of gripping the floor. We've got about a shoulder width or slightly wider than shoulder width apart with your feet. From here, we're going to, as always, pillar on, shoulders down and back, core on, and then you're going to start the movement by sort of pushing your hips back as if you're going to sit down into a chair and then lowering yourself down nice and slow. Good work. So that is very full range of motion right there. And then you're going to push up through your heels to come back. We're going to re-brace everything and then bring it back down. Good job. So again, that's a full range of motion, right? Your knee is strong and mobile and able to get that full range of motion. If you can't quite get down that far, that's okay. I'd probably rather you do something than nothing. So if you can only get down, halfway or something, that's probably a good starting point. Yep. All right. So now if that was a body weight squat, if that feels a little bit too easy, let's say, then we would add a weight exactly like we're doing it here, goblet style. So you're holding it right up into your chest and this is adding some resistance. I actually like doing it with a light weight. I think it balances you a little bit. And I like that it puts your elbows in a good position to know when you're all the way to the bottom because your elbows will kind of touch your thighs and then okay, I'm there, I can come back up. Yeah? 8? Okay. How was our sense of effort there?
Moving that slowly
it's
5.
Yeah. Yeah. That's pretty good. You're pretty strong. Okay. Let's move this over to here for now. All right. Let's take a little break. So 90 seconds. We'll use the full 90 seconds this time because I'm going to do some talking. So this time I want to talk about how to get the long-term benefits of exercise. It's based on a key principle of exercise science called progressive overload. So essentially what we need to do if you want to keep getting fitter and healthier and keep training your brain and your nervous system, we do need to make exercise a little bit more challenging over time to kind of prompt your body to adapt and get fitter. That means making some aspect of your exercise a little bit more difficult over time. Now, there's a lot of ways to do that. It can get really complicated. I want to give you guys what I think is the simplest system for doing this so that you know when's the appropriate time to progress. I call it the repetition range system. So you're going to choose a repetition range in your workout. So we're doing an 8 to 12 repetition range. Sometimes in other programs, you might see like a 6 to 8 repetition range or a 12 to 15. We could probably go into the nuance of that and why you would choose a certain repetition range in that other video. But for now, let's say 8 to 12. So you would pick a weight that makes it very challenging to get to the bottom number in that range. So 8 in this example. So you want, when you get to number 8, that should be an 8 or 9 out of 10 effort. And then every time you do that same exercise, you're going to use the same weight and try to do maybe 1 or 2 more repetitions with the same weight. And as you get stronger, you'll eventually be able to do the top number of repetitions, so 12 in this example. And then all right, now it's time for me to increase the weight go back to 8, and start working my way up and repeat. You can actually get really good results by doing that for a long time. That's basically what I still do. All right, round 2, shoulder presses. Again, this is our push exercise. So we're nice and strong and stable, core on, glutes on. I want to talk about modifications here, but really quickly before I do that, something else that I see pretty commonly here is people starting to kind of lean back as the weights get heavier. We really do want to keep a nice strong pillar and keep everything nice and upright. If you find yourself starting to lean back, then the weights are probably maybe a little bit too challenging. If this exercise doesn't feel good for you for whatever reason, we would, first of all, drop the weights, see if that helps. Second of all, try to modify it with another push exercise. Or this one, though, you could also do the same exercise in a seated position. So if the standing position maybe doesn't feel so good, you could just sit down on a bench and do the same thing. If that still doesn't work, you could try a different push exercise. You could maybe do, because this is mostly a shoulder kind of exercise, you could do like a lat raise where you're, go this way, raising the weights up to the sides. That would be a very similar movement pattern. How we doing?
That's number 8.
All right, perfect. All right, so that's our pushes done. And now we're going to go back to our squats. With the squat, I want to demonstrate a box squat this time.
Okay.
So let's get these out of the way really fast. Okay. Now, if a body weight squat like what Yoni did before is a little bit too challenging, if you find, balance-wise or something, it's hard to get all the way down, we can use a bench or a box to make it, or a chair, to make it a little bit easier. So I'm going to turn it at an angle for you. Okay. So essentially, it's going to do exactly the same thing. So we've got nice strong foot position, grabbing the floor with pinky toe, big toe, and heels. And then this time she's going to come all the way down to the box, and rest your body weight on there. You're still trying to do it the hard way. So at the bottom here, she's actually resting all of her body weight down. So this just takes a little bit of that balance, uneasiness out of the equation because the box is right there. It's not going anywhere. It's going to support your weight. And this way you can often get a little bit more depth. And then if that starts to feel a little bit too easy, then we can do a goblet squat exactly the same as we did with the squats before. So we just hold that kettlebell. So we're pretending like we're holding it now. That's perfect. Good job. Now with squats, if a squat like this kind of squat doesn't feel so good, we want to change it for another squat exercise. One that I actually really like to do, maybe we could demonstrate this if you think that's okay, is a football wall squat. So, get you to give me a hand. Thank you. We would take a little football here and a wall. And so you would put the football against the wall, kind of pin it between your body and the wall. And then you're going to do your same squat exercise. So essentially rolling down the wall. Good job. Yep. And so now you can lean your body weight into the ball a little bit, and it just provides a little bit more stability and support, and it makes it a little bit easier to get all the way down to that bottom position. How's that feeling? Yeah? Okay, that's good. All right, so we have done, now we did our push, we did our squat. Let's do a core and our accessory exercise. So let's get our mat back in here. So this will be our rest time while I'm just making some adjustments. So this is our mat for our plank, which is going to be our core exercise. All right. And then I'm getting these ready for our accessory, which is going to be a farmer's walk. So I'll get them over here.
So you brought them up to 120.
Yeah, so they're super, super heavy. This is maxing out my dumbbells, basically. All right, so do you want some rest or are you good to go? How's your body feeling right now? Okay. All right, so we're going to do our plank. So a lot of people have done planks before. I'm going to show you a slightly more challenging way to do them. Sorry about this. Okay, so plank position. Elbows underneath shoulders. We've got body weight up on your toes, and your body is in a straight line. Can you just really quickly demonstrate how not to do it? So we don't want hips up in the air, and we don't want hips sagging down. So we're going to split the difference. Perfect. So now we're in a nice straight line. I'm actually going to use our timer here. Let me reset it. We're going to do 30 seconds. She's doing some bonus time here because I didn't start the timer yet. But we're basically just going to hang out in this position. Now, to make it a little bit more challenging, the right way to do a plank is to actually take your elbows and pull them down towards your feet. Can you feel how that really ramps up the core activation there? You're doing great. Hang in there. 15 seconds. Good. So we're just going to keep hanging around here. 10 seconds. You're probably feeling a little bit of discomfort in that core right now, right? This is a great way to train the skill of getting comfortable with discomfort, right? Of learning that you can feel a little bit uncomfortable. That's good. You can rest. It's okay to feel a little bit uncomfortable and a little bit unpleasant. You are still safe and you are still okay. All right. How's that core feeling? Good. Yeah? So now we're going to do a farmer's walk. So a farmer's walk is we're going to take a dumbbell in each hand and you're essentially just going to walk around, right? Really simple. We're going to do, normally I would get you to do like a straight line. So you might start a 30-second timer and just walk in a straight line for 15 seconds and then come back for 15 seconds. For our purposes, we're going to do the tiniest little laps in the world. We're going to just walk right around this mat just to kind of demonstrate what it looks like. So we've got our weights here. Okay, let me move out of your way. And all right, my timer is on. So just going to walk. Now, the things with farmer's walks is, first of all, we still want that strong pillar. So we want shoulders down and back. That's really important. We want core on. And we want to take nice little steps here. So everything's, really super strong and under control. Nice job. And we're just basically going to keep moving. So you've got about 7 seconds left. And so we're continuing to just focus on sending our brain those signals that we're really nice and strong and stable. All right. How'd those weights feel? Pretty light for you? Yeah. Yeah. All right. Let's do one last rest period here. And then we will finish it up. Okay. So what I want to talk about this time is what you can do after exercise. I don't think I mentioned this in workout A, but you should do this after workout A, after this workout, after any workout. It's called parasympathetic breathing. So essentially what we're trying to do is activate your parasympathetic nervous system, which is your rest and digest system, right? Your like relaxation and recovery system. It's the opposite of your sympathetic nervous system, which is your fight or flight response. We want to be able to shift back and forth from that fight or flight or stress mode to this relaxation mode. A lot of times with neural circuit stuff and with anxiety, we kind of get stuck in that fight or flight mode, right? We need to train our nervous system to activate that stress response when it's appropriate, which in exercise it's appropriate, but also be able to ramp it down and activate our relaxation response when that's appropriate. And so this parasympathetic breathing is a good way to kind of teach and practice that skill. So what you would do, we don't have to demonstrate it, but what you would do is lie down on your back. You're going to take nice, big, deep belly breaths. So breathing with your diaphragm all the way down into your belly. And you want to make your exhale longer than your inhale. So I like to do a 2-second inhale through your mouth, a 2-second inhale through your nose, a 4-second exhale through your mouth. And you want to do that for about 3 to 5 minutes after each exercise or after each workout. Not bad. Okay, last time. So let's do a plank. Oh, yes, sorry. Thank you. I'll get 30 seconds on here. I'll actually start the timer on time this time, so you're not doing you ended up doing like a minute last time. Or I'll try to start the timer. Okay. All right, so same position here. Again, to make it more challenging, you're going to pull your elbows down towards your feet. That really gets core going. If this doesn't feel comfortable for you, for whatever reason, maybe it's having your head down in this position, we could try changing positions, maybe a side plank, so you're off to the side, or you could flip over and do a dead bug, or if you want to be standing up for your core exercise, you could do like a resistance band wood chop or a payloft press or something like that. Good job. All right, how's that core feeling? Okay. All right, so last thing is one more round of farmer's walks, and if you want to get fancy here, you can go backwards. All right, last time. So again, nice and strong and stable. We're taking these nice small steps, trying to pull everything back, and now Yanit's going to do a very advanced version, which is walking backwards. I really like this exercise both forwards and backwards because, see, that's the hazard of going backwards. I like this exercise because it's really functional. I mean, this is essentially training you to do something that you do every day, which is walking, just making it a little bit more challenging so that when you do the normal version, it's easier. That's really also what we're trying to do in the gym. We're trying to challenge ourselves in a way that makes our daily life better and easier. All right, that's everything. So we did our push, our pull, our squat, our hinge, our core, our accessory. We are done. How you feeling?
Good.
All right, awesome.
Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you.
All right, thanks everyone.